Why do you think many other public companies have not necessarily followed in your footsteps adopting Bitcoin as their treasury reserve asset?
The primary impediment's been FASB or GAAP accounting. The GAAP accounting, if I made a list, at the top of the list would be indefinite intangible accounting. It's toxic to a public company balance sheet. That's the number one issue.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and check that obstacle off the board, as Bitcoin is going to be measured at fair value under the new FASB rules. So measuring Bitcoin at fair value means that companies holding Bitcoin will be able to report its value in their financial statements based on the current price. This move by FASB is a landmark decision in the accounting treatment of Bitcoin, and it's super bullish. How bullish are you asking? Well, you remember when Michael Saylor said these 3 catalysts will take Bitcoin to 5 million? Well, the ETF is imminent. And not just that, if you watch yesterday's episode, Blackrock is also allowing banks exposure to Bitcoin through their ETF, set to launch very soon. And this fair value accounting, as GigaChad told us a long time ago, is a major hurdle that Bitcoin just overcame.
So it's going to grind up to replace gold. It'll go to $500,000 a coin, regardless of whether they fix these things. But there are 3 things that are massive catalysts that cause an acceleration. And I don't think that those 3 things don't take us to 500,000. They take us to 5 million a coin. Right? Those 3 things are a spot ETF, where someone can go ahead and buy $100 million of Bitcoin by a security, an ETF security. I think that's 1. 2 is your bank is going to custody it for you and lend against it. And 3 is I can mark it up or mark it down on my balance sheet based on fair value. Pari passu. It'll be pari passu to the way I'd handle Apple stock, or at least that good. If you have property with fair value accounting, by the way, it becomes pari passu to the way you'd handle treasury bonds on a treasury balance sheet. Treasuries are better than stocks because treasury is property, whereas a stock is a security, and you're capped out at 40% of your balance sheet as security. So it would be a major, major breakthrough if you saw any of those 3 things. And I'll end with this one observation. I tweeted this last week, but I think it's very powerful. It's if the banks can hold this stuff on their balance sheet, then a whole new class of investors are going to buy it. People are going to put in billion and multi-billion-dollar orders to buy it as a treasury asset. Nobody's going to sell it because there's no reason to sell it if you can borrow against it at LIBOR plus or at SOFR plus 50 basis points, right? So you'll be borrowing against Bitcoin at SOFR plus 50 or SOFR plus 100 basis points. No one's ever going to sell it. And then, as I joked, you won't be able to afford it. I mean, you will be able to afford it, but, everybody gets Bitcoin at the price they deserve.
It's looking like corporate balance sheets might start loading up on Bitcoin following in GigaChad's footsteps. Even PayPal President David Marcus says that the new fair value accounting for Bitcoin is a huge deal, removing a large obstacle in the way of corporations holding Bitcoin on the balance sheet. Even more bullish, every national treasury will need to hold Bitcoin. That's coming from Franklin Templeton. But where else have I heard that Bitcoin is the treasury reserve asset?
Technologies that are dominating today, they're dominating because they're able to deliver force faster, harder, stronger, smarter. We ask the question, what is money? Money is the highest form of energy that human beings can channel. Bitcoin is channeling human ingenuity into making it better. And every commodity is channeling human energy into making it worse. The lowbrow or the historic colloquial term is HODL, right? Hold on for dear life, or just HODL or save, whatever. And the highbrow term would be adopt as a treasury reserve asset.
GigaChad nails it. Bitcoin is your astronomical opportunity. Also, did GigaChad know we were putting this episode out today? Synchronicity, baby. Hey, we got a lot of bullish news to cover. Let's get it. Party, that party. Yeah, come and have a good time with G.O.D. Oh man, just thinking back from Bitcoin, just a little infant little Bitcoin right there. But now we have not just GigaChad, but Franklin Templeton referring to Bitcoin as the treasury reserve asset. Haters gonna hate, but at the end of the day, you can ask Laura.
It's going up forever, Laura.
So with corporations looking to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet, and then we're talking about nations, due to certain economic reasons, being forced or incentivized to put Bitcoin on their treasury as a reserve asset, there's really not that much Bitcoin available. So if you kind of put two and two together, what does that mean? Numbers going up, baby. But here we go. Demand shock. It's there. We also have the supply shock. Exchanges holding 6-year lows of Bitcoin, and the halving is coming. Maybe I'm wrong, crazy, slightly deranged, but I do feel this cycle, as many are echoing, is going to be different. Not only do we have the halving, but we have the macro environment, a demand shock, and a supply shock, and Bitcoin going mainstream with tens of billions, possibly hundreds of billions flowing into the ETFs. This is going to be the biggest bull run in Bitcoin's history. And here we go. Bitcoin stages a comeback following FASB's new standards release. I don't know about that. We're up over 100% this past year and just getting started, but it does help. And again, institutional demand is about to meet a supply shock. And here is Mark Yusko adding to what Goldman Sachs was saying about 100K Bitcoin. He's not saying, in 2024. He's saying that Bitcoin will explode to 100K and rather quickly. So, someone's colon was being insurrected in the Senate. The greatest Bitcoin bull run in history is picking up, not just with FASB and those things, but check this out. Bitcoin moguls convene in Montenegro to mull hydro Bitcoin bonds. Samson Mao is at it again. Nation states are mining and adopting and gonna be stacking Bitcoin. Instead of doing whatever in the Senate, they might have been trying to work on this, or put in a proposal to start stacking corn. But that's not what they were doing in the Senate. And remember, we did touch on the macro environment, and there was a rather dovish FOMC speech from Jay Powell, with many predicting a series of cuts Q2 through Q4. And that's going to be, you cycle that in with the ETF, the demand and supply shock, nation states mining and adopting Bitcoin as a treasury reserve asset. You tell me where we're going. There's a reason Saylor has an astronaut suit on. Get ready to blast off, baby.
Bitcoin will never die as long as there's one person alive in this world that yearns for freedom. That's what that tweet says. Whether it's a Bitcoin miner or a person with a Bitcoin wallet or somebody running a node or a company, it doesn't matter who it is. As long as there's at least one person in the world that understands Bitcoin and yearns for freedom, right, it will continue. It is a decentralized ideology, and you can't kill an idea. And the idea is freedom and sovereignty. That's the idea, manifested in a technology protocol. And that's what you want to be, right? There are other ideas. I think we like this one.
Depending where you are, Bitcoin is already blasted off as it's hit a new all-time high in 6 countries. And those 6 countries where Bitcoin reached a new all-time high: Egypt, Nigeria, Lebanon, Pakistan, Turkey, and Argentina.
The idea of being able to move $1 million from, New York to Tokyo is only the second order idea. It allows you to bypass the Fed, and it allows you to bypass all the credit layers. So you don't need the central bank, you don't need the correspondent bank, you don't need the credit card network, etc. Yeah, all nice. But what I've said tongue in cheek, if you go back some of my tweets, I said the magic of Bitcoin is not transferring money to someone 10,000 miles away. It's transferring money to someone 10,000 days away, right? It's a much bigger idea, right? The minor idea is I transfer the money through space, cross domains, point to point in cyberspace. The bigger idea is I manifest the money in cyberspace, because something in cyberspace never dies. It's forever. The real interesting idea here is not that I can send $1 billion from point A to point B for $1, which is whatever, 1,000x, a million x cheaper. If I can move money 1 million x cheaper, that's an idea. But the idea that I could put the $1 billion into cyberspace at all, where it will be uncorrupted and immortal and last for 1 million years, That's a much bigger idea. And then the biggest idea is that once I put it in cyberspace, it's not just immortal, it's pure energy. People get confused about energy and we could talk about it a bit. The truth is it's even better than energy. It's scarcity.
And everyone's waking up to the fact that there is no second best. Even veteran trader Peter Brandt predicts ETH will not even be listed as an asset in 10 years. Throw those shitcoins in the trash. We can go ahead and add in the fact that the Bitcoiners aren't selling. Now let's get into one thing I found interesting. This is from those in FASB, and they were talking about the excitement, the enthusiasm, and the energy behind the people in the community pushing for the fair value accounting. And I like what the guy said. It's not about the accounting rules, etc. He's never seen this type of enthusiasm. It's about the underlying asset.
I think in my brief term here, there hasn't been an issue that's excited such passion from people about something. And it's probably wasn't the accounting, it was really the underlying something from those who thought it was the best thing coming and others who had a contrary view. But at the end of the day, that's not our mission, right? Our mission is to best reflect the economics of a transaction, provide investors and allocators of capital with the information they need. I think this moves the needle there. I think we heard overwhelmingly from investors that allocate capital based on the use of financial statements, that this will provide them better information to make their decisions. And so I'm fully supportive of it. I want to thank the staff, a lot of work. I want to thank all of our stakeholders for giving us great input.
And also to add to that, there were a lot of people with deep pockets pushing for this because they want to early adopt now. Think about that. Have you been stacking for a while? These corporations just called now, this moment, the early adopter moment.
So last thoughts. They gave some insights into when this could be applicable. I think December 15th, 2024, if your year ends after that. But there's also the chance for early adoption. Any insights you could give on when you think early adoption would actually be effective?
Sure, and this is certainly our plan. We heard loud and clear in the comment letter process that companies want to early adopt now.
You did it. You front ran the institutions. Everybody wants security. The incentives are there, and they're finding hope in sound money and the bright orange future.
What Satoshi created is the world's most secure database, accessible via the world's most secure network. We're living in a world where everybody wants security. You want to call it financial security, national security, cyber security, social security. If you want security, you need to find the most secure network or the most secure resource on Earth. It's not gold anymore, and it's not land anymore, and it's not anything that can be created by any human being anymore. It has to be something that is transcending all of those human institutions and all human motivations. In essence, it needs to be a network that runs without human intervention. And that is what Satoshi created when Satoshi created Bitcoin.
Yo guys, with all this bullishness going on, you want to make sure that you're securing your Bitcoin, getting it off exchanges, and using best practices. If you need help with any of that, we got just the guys to get you covered. And whether you're just getting started with Bitcoin or further down the rabbit hole, the Bitcoin Way is here to help you wherever you are in your journey. As your dedicated Bitcoin IT team, the Bitcoin Way is here to guide you start to finish on your journey to properly self-custody your Bitcoin. What's more, they've recently introduced 100% privacy-focused collaborative custody services where you're going to benefit from advanced multi-sig security, inheritance planning, and much more while remaining 100% in control. Looking to get started? Go ahead and book a free 30-minute call using that link below. Better buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. The moon beckons, but first we have to get through the firmament.
Once you know how it all ends, that the only use of time is, how do I buy more Bitcoin? But take all your money, buy Bitcoin, then take all your time, figure out how to borrow more money to buy more Bitcoin, then take all your time and figure out what you can sell to buy Bitcoin. And if you absolutely love the thing that you don't want to sell it, go mortgage your house and buy Bitcoin with it. And if you've got a business that you love because your family works for the business, it's in your family for 37 years, and you can't bear to sell it, mortgage it, finance it, and convert the proceeds into the hardest money on earth, which is Bitcoin. So what I would say is use all your time to acquire Bitcoin, finance entities and weaker currencies to buy Bitcoin, or educate yourself on.
Yo, hope you guys like this one. Be sure to like, subscribe, share the Sound Money Gospel. Follow us on Twitter where we're getting all the latest breaking news. Set those notifications and we will be your guide through the peaceful Bitcoin revolution. The greatest bull market in Bitcoin's history is near. Are you ready? Catch you all next time. Peace.
If you prefer to go down with the ship, fuck you.